Hello, Internet, and welcome to the 41st episode of the Deep Fried Neurons podcast. I can't believe I've been doing this for 41 weeks, and I'm sorry that the episodes have been coming out a day late at least in the recent days. But this one is exactly 7 days after the last one, so I hope that's fine. Anyway, I'll start with today's episode, and I'll save banter for the later part because I bantered a lot in the middle of this episode as well, like on a personal note. But that's that. I'll see you at the end of it. Bye. Wait, what did I do? I just meant to cue the fucking... Hi guys, today's episode might be a little shorter than usual because I'm genuinely not prepared for this. But I understand that I promised weekly content and I should deliver at least weekly content, which is why I saved some of the content before. So if this episode doesn't make it to the 10-minute mark or even maybe even 5-minute mark, I apologize in advance. But trust me, I'm trying. College has just started and it's keeping me really busy, which is why the upload day has shifted from Sunday to Monday. It's not intentional. I think this episode might just be online by Tuesday. But you know what? I'll try my best to make it Sunday again, or at least keep it coming on Monday. The other series, I'm working on both of them, but, well, you know how it is. Ain't got no time, ain't got no satisfaction. Anyway, that's what's up with me. And now to the topic of the day. I wanted to talk about post-human philosophy or post-humanism in art, more importantly. Well, I think it's out there when we talk about what it means to be post-human. If you Google it, the term it will throw at you is post-human or post-human is a concept originating in the fields of science fiction, futurology, contemporary art, and philosophy that literally means a person or entity that exists in a state beyond being human. If that sounds familiar, it's because we've discussed that before. I think this episode is gonna be a mixture between the Are You Replaceable episode, which I think is 26 or 36, I'm not sure, and the new one, the talking about truth one, solipsism. But solipsism it might not delve into it. This definitely is going back to the Are You Replaceable wala discussion. Wala means you get what I mean, right? This goes back to the Are You Replaceable discussion. Well, at some point in human beings' trajectory, given that our rise as the most successful species that has ever existed on this planet, at least statistically, has been through technology. I mean, think about it. The first cheat that we ever did on nature was that we assembled, and then nature sort of reiterated or rewarded us for assembling together. But the real shit started when we started using things in nature to get use out of them. I mean, I think a human society is determined, the prowess and progress of a human society is determined by the tools at its disposal. The reason we call the developed world is because they can get rid of their problems more with the tools at their disposal than the money at their disposal. And money can translate into tools technically, but that's not all there is to that dimension. I mean, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry, my monitor is making me hear horrible. But well, we'll manage that. We'll move past that. What the fuck was I? Oh yeah, post-human thought. Beyond all of this, there's also the question of if that's true, if we are determined by the kind of tools that are at our disposal, doesn't that mean that technically we can win the survival race if we end up making the tools and us inseparable? Do you know what I mean? I mean, of course, I'm going into the cyborg territory by now. And of course, I'm not talking about transhuman version of the cyborg world. I mean, I don't mean that we change life and death, like birth and death and life, and we use nanotechnologies and whatever, where we are somewhere between flesh and blood and wires and steel. I mean that we convert from here to there, like we make the leap into a place where our existence is recognized as a complete being of. I am going to talk about posthumanism again. I'm so sorry, I lost my link, but I don't have time to redo this. Genuinely, I don't. You have no idea how much shit I'm doing besides college as well. So like, anyway, you don't care. Post-human thought. So I'm not talking about the transhuman version of the post-human thought. The transhuman is a completely different philosophy altogether. It's somewhere between flesh and blood. It still has place for birth and death. I'm talking about a transient phase where we become the tools of exploration and survival to the extent that we don't resemble what it looks like or feels like to be human. There's actually artists that suggest that we already live the post-human life, an entity that is definitely not what humans are or what resemble humans to be, at least in their lifestyle and whatnot. I mean, this is of course futurist sort of a take on the current debate, but it makes sense to me. The point remains that no matter what happens, maybe that's where we're headed. But what's the philosophical implications of that? Does that mean that we will stop feeling as well? Of course, here's where the solipsism thing comes in, because it also will determine what kind of parameters we're up to. Like right now, your eyes are catching the visible spectrum of light, which is what you call color or whatever. Between the like infrared and ultraviolet is where your visible spectrum lies. Your audible spectrum is supersonic and ultrasound. If I'm not ultrasound and what's the smaller one? What's lower than the hearing decibel? I mean, those two are technically the ones that you can perceive with your ears. I mean, vibration, decibel, or whatever. Taste, touch, all of that, tactile, and what's left? Smell. All of that is chemistry. Some of it a lot more complex than I care to understand or care to give time to. But if these parameters could be changed to widen to perceive all wavelengths and all chemicals, doesn't that mean that the way we understand taste, touch, sense of smell, everything will change to the extent that we wouldn't recognize humanity or the human sense of the same things? And also, won't we eliminate feelings except curiosity? I mean, I would. So I'm just curious, like, when those people take over, will they care what we think about them or what we thought about them? Will they care about history? It will be indifferent to them, because I'm pretty sure they'll shoot themselves into face and go on an exploratory trip of the universe and make it to the edge of time or whatever. That's what I would do if I was post-human, at least. So I'm just curious as to when and if we get to a point where we stop resembling what it means to be human, and what's your parameters for stopping to be human and becoming something else. Of course, the first parameter that I would set is all the sensory organs, like I mentioned, would change to, infinity. You can sense everything and anything and everywhere. I would like it not to have a concrete physical evidence, like physical existence. I want it to be downloadable, like, shit on the internet, like a YouTube video. Like, I would be a YouTube video which will simultaneously exist on multiple servers. So physical destruction would not be achieved as such. Oh yeah, of course, the concept of birth and deaths will be completely gone, is what I was hoping for. I mean, wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want birth to stop as much as death? Or like at least biological birth will completely go away. But if we're just calibrating people into machines, wouldn't that mean that it would be the end of what we understand to be human individuality? You could choose your personality technically, since it will have no genetic basis. You'll be just wires. Even the genetic base is about to change. There's this project that me and my friend keep talking about. Not that we understand anything about it, but we keep talking about it because it just sounds so fucking cool when we do it. It's called, I think, CRISPR, CRYSPER. It's the gene editing project, and basically, eventually, I think that's where we will end up going. That's the first step towards post-humanist, where we will be able to live a few thousand years and edit our personalities, our genes, our physical appearances to the extent that we control how we look at all given points. And it'll be all natural since it's grown from your own DNA, like since it's grown from editing your own DNA. We've already mastered cloning, so that means you're not technically physically special or anything. You could be replaced at any given point. Your personality is what makes you. But even that's probability. So individuality would die, is what I'm trying to say, with the moment we reach post-human. It will simulate things in a lot more calculated and a lot more intentional way, rather than, just being. And the fact that there's art coming about that is pretty cool. I'm glad that I live in a time where the human experience is not all we get to see, especially surreal art and a lot of the memes, especially in the surreal art space and the deep fried cryptic space. They've stopped making art that's about the human experience, which is very interesting. I mean, these are people who've gone beyond and tried to explain an experience of things that don't exist as human. And it's an imagination of an experience that is indifferent to the human perception, told to the human perception. A lot of it is also pretty incomprehensible, but it's beautiful, and you should check it out. I think that's all I have for today. But I hope you found that interesting, and well, bye. Okay, people, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you liked the episode, and I'm genuinely sorry that the upload schedule has been so fucked. Musing about memes is under process. I mean, I want to say that, but I don't want to make promises as to when it will be released. And I promise to keep working on more shit, and stay tuned. If you like the podcast, please support us on Patreon. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Keep listening to us on any of the media platforms that you've been getting to. I've been looking at my audio feed, and I'm really glad that I'm getting a lot of support there. So thank you. And see you. Bye.